Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Ross here from Porkers Corner. The government sport. I say the things on here that nobody dare say. First of all, if you want to have a look at human nutrients, just click on the link pinned up in the comments section. All right, go treat yourself, or at least go and have a look at the website. Right, Adam Cattrall's back on Talk Sport, and even the guard actually agree with something I'm saying. It's very dangerous, this Jake Paul fight, Anthony Joshua. You've got a guy who's barely area level. He's been beat by Tommy Fury. Who would you say Tommy's area level? I don't know. Joshua, you'd say he's British level, but he can bang, can't he? So it's a very dangerous fight. Anthony Joshua could fight Jake Paul, ice him, and still get the two Fury fights. But if he goes in with anybody else in top 25, he might get beat. So let's look at him cashing out now. He could end up with, I don't know, a couple 100 million, couldn't he, for fighting Jake Paul and Fury twice, after stoppages and tax and everything, and stick that with what he's got. He's on his way to 500 million, isn't he? But greed makes people do stupid things. Absolutely. Like, lets people do crazy things, in fact. But hey ho, we'll get back to that in a minute. But let's just have a little look about what else has been happening in the sport of boxing. Let's see Eubank Jr. He's draining himself down, isn't he, for dough. Eddie Hills talks about fighters' safety is paramount, and then he's draining him down, but he's his own worst enemy, isn't he, Eubank? He's his own worst enemy because he's a brass, isn't he? He's not going to go in with anybody else for the simple reason he could get beat off anybody in top 25, especially when you've got beefy feather duster man Smith stopping you. That tells everybody that your punch resistance has gone. So I look at it. So, but Crusher's done a video on Instagram. Crusher Ben, he's wanting all these MMA guys to come over into boxing. He's going to go the gimmick route like Joshua, isn't it? And isn't it funny, really? Eddie Hills was two biggest stars at Matchroom. Crusher Ben is now begging for MMA guys to fight him at boxing on his Instagram. And Anthony Joshua, who's in advanced talks, according to Eddie Hills on Puppy Parsons' channel, advanced talks. I mean, hey, is that where we're at? Hey, Crusher Ben, not won a belt. Joshua, not had a world title defense since 2020. They're now hanging about for influencer fights and crossover fights. Is that where boxing's heading now? Oh my God. What I find amazing is how all the media, apart from, well, the Gad and Cattrall, I give them a little bit of respect today. Most of the media are sitting on the fence because they know not to go against the status quo. But come on, I mean, what have we learned from Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, Tyson Fury, Ungano, AJ Ungano? What have we learned from them fights? We had Holyfield a couple of years ago embarrassing himself. Now we've got Butterbean dug up, and we've forever got Joe Egan and Big John Fury running around, stronger, faster, quicker than speeding bullets. Do you know what I mean? It's what money does. It does crazy things to you. I mean, Glenn McCrory's head went, didn't it, when this fight with Roy Jones went? His absolute head went, and he's in a bad way. And this is what happens. People make promises in boxing. Look what happened with Ricky Hatton and Robin Reed. Ricky Hatton gave him runaround, didn't he? You can't do that with some fighters because they're thinking about getting paid, aren't they? And they gets their hopes up. And boxing's full of people that just talk absolute pony. You know, don't worry about it, Russell. We've got something bubbling. Yeah, well, we're still waiting, Dennis, for your bubbling stories. So I see Usyk's been offered 125 million to fight Moses Atome if he comes through his Dillian White fight. So they'll base the future of boxing around Moses, won't they, if he beats Usyk? But I'd expect him to beat Dillian White and people to be screaming for Usyk fight. And then I'd assume they'll be coming out with things like, well, he's number one ranked. You know, you can't just roll, you can't have them rankings and then be parked up. Well, of course, Usyk's got to fight him at some point, hasn't he? So why not? But there's a lot of people before him, Parker and Caballel. They should be getting their flowers before Moses Toma. He's not put any heavy lifting in. And what a lot of people are forgetting, before he gets in the ring with Dillian White, he's only done an hour in the ring in boxing. 1 hour as a pro, 25 rounds he's done. So if he knocks Dillian White out in 3 rounds, he'll have done 28 rounds. Does that mean he's ready for Alexander Usyk? Eh? I don't think so. I see Spotty Frank Smith from Matchrooms pipes up. He says AJ Jake Paul's bigger than AJ Fury. Oh my God, who's told you to say that, Spotty? Adam fence sitting bike seat sniffer Smith, aka Super Beans, saying he can see how Dillian White beats Moses, but Moses is the favourite. Why don't you just sit on that fence and put splinters in your arse? I'll tell you why, because he's got to bump into Dillian White at some point again. So he's saying, well, Moses is favourite, and they're all going with this one, aren't they? And Dylan's got the experience, and don't be surprised if he does it. That's people going into bat for Dillian White. He hasn't done anything for donkey's years. 5 weeks is a long time in boxing, never mind 5 years. So, no, Dillian White's not got enough vigour or sharpness. It'll be target practice. But all them coming out saying, well, I can see how he does it. Well, they were saying the same thing about Mike Tyson, weren't they, when he was finished in 1989? Chinks were appearing then. And then he got done at the beginning of 1990, didn't he? So it is what it is. Where's Johnny Horsecock going to end up now then? I mean, he's at Sky Sports in boxing department, but are they going to keep him on? It remains to be seen, but I think Johnny probably needs a change. He should try and get a job somewhere else. It's obvious they're not going to give him the promoter's job, are they? So what's he hanging around at Sky for like a bad smell? So it is what it is, but I expect Johnny to be relieved of duties there, because if there's no boxing department, why do they need him there? He's not going to talk about football, is he? And do we even count that belt that Johnny had back in the day? Because they never give him it, the WBO, for over 10 years, did they? Or it 14 years? I forget now, but he never got his belt for years. Absolute years. So it is what it is. That's about it, really. Not really much else to say. So, okie dokie. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. We might have Yaz on later. We'll see. All right, go on, pop, pop, bang. Booyaka.